Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Wolverine 41. Let's take a look at the creative team before we get into talking about this book. This book is co-written by Victor LaValle and Benjamin Percy, with art by Geoff Shaw and Cory Smith, inks by Geoff Shaw and Oren Jr., colors by Alex Sinclair, and letters by Cory Petit. We'll also see plenty of covers, but the main cover is by Laniel Francis Yu and Romulo Fajardo Jr. Wow, we are about to enter probably one of the craziest Wolverine events we've seen in a little while, the Sabretooth War. So let's read the synopsis and we'll get into the review. Sabretooth War begins here, the most violent Wolverine story ever told. Get ready for the showdown to end all showdowns. Wolverine versus Sabretooth. It's been years since these heavy hitters have crossed paths in the Marvel Universe, but as Krakow falls, so Sabretooth rises, and he is out for revenge. They threw Victor Creed in the pit, but he is now free and wielding an army of Sabretooths. He will prove once and for all why he's Logan's ultimate nemesis. Co-written by literary powerhouses Benjamin Percy and Victor LaValle, and drawn by the Dynamos Cory Smith and Geoff Shaw. Don't miss the inaugural issue in this multi-shipping saga leading up to the landmark issue number 50. We'll talk about that last part after the review. But yeah, here we are. So a little bit of context for the book. LaValle had been doing a lot of the Sabretooth stories coming up to this, a couple of miniseries. Obviously, Benjamin Percy's been handling Wolverine for a long time now. So coming together, these two writers are bringing us this amazing story. I've really been into the Wolverine book for like the Wolverine book feels like it's the most disconnected to the Krakoan era, even though all the events in the other books affect the Wolverine's book. They really don't have that much direct impact up until a little bit more recently. So that really kind of drew me really back in. Um, but this story was insane. I really like Wolverine versus Logan as a trope in comics. I think it's probably one of the best rivalries we can see. There's a lot of context that you might need to get into this book, but the book very smartly clues you in as to what's Wolverine been up to, what Sabretooth been up to. So this issue is actually a pretty great primer to catch up on both of their stories in a very succinct and efficient way. Percy and LaValle are very good at bringing you up to speed and everything you need to know for the story going forward. But if you don't know anything at all, just know that Sabretooth hates Wolverine, and the rest will kind of just follow. The rest is really the set dressing for this outstanding event. So let's take a look at some of the preview art here. As I mentioned, some of the bloodiest, some of the most horrific, some of the most gruesome art you can see here. You see Sabretooth being stalked by Wolverine, and then of course Sabretooth's ripped open a Cyclops' face. Now we eventually do find out this is not the main Cyclops. This isn't even Wolverine. This is all training, because Sabretooth has gathered Sabretooths from all different kinds of Earths and brought them together to complete his mission. But yeah, I love this art. It gets really down and gritty. Both Geoff Shaw and Cory Smith are very good at these sort of things where they just really dig down and give you something that can be really bloody. Which a lot of that stuff also attributed to Alex Sinclair's amazing colors, just finding the right shade of red. And then yeah, it is really crazy to see Wolverine. I mean, to see Sabretooth, not only with many Sabretooths from different universes, but also piloting this ship, leading a squad, and then things just kind of escalate from there. You get to catch up with Logan. You get to catch up with a little bit of the X-Force. The book does tell you exactly all these events happen before the current fall of the House of X and Rise of Powers of 10. So if you're reading all that stuff, all this will kind of fit into the story neatly. I'm glad that the editors have taken the time to explain a little bit of this, because sometimes all those little questions in the back of your head really kind of put a little damper on the book. But this was a great way to kick off. Uh, and you won't really believe what happens in that last page. I was left aghast. So really interesting to see how the internet reacts to this, how people that have been reading this series kind of react to this. And then the coolest part is that you get to the last page and you see the preview for the next issue. And I didn't know that this was going to be not only is it a 10-part event leading up to Wolverine 50, up until we looked at the synopsis, but also the book will be shipping twice a month. So you don't have to wait too long to get the next part. I think that's why we have multiple artists, we have multiple writers. Um, they are able to kind of tackle this as a team, which is a really cool to see. It's really cool to see in a collaborative medium like comics, how insane this is going to be. And like I mentioned, probably the most violent, disgusting Wolverine book you've ever seen. Really cool covers at the end of the video. Stay tuned for that. So, if you have read this, let me know what you thought about it. I'll try to make sure that we keep up on this, every other week, and just do a full review for these issues because I'm very interested. I did a full review for every issue of the previous arc, so I think we could do this as well. Hopefully, we find the time, but I think this has really moved to the top of my pile, very close to the top of my pile for the Marvel books, because I'm really invested in this story going forward. So, as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have some more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.